Hey, I'm Bro. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Crew.
Bro, what are you doing? I told you get off my motorcycle. You're gonna hurt yourself.
All right, so today we're here with Taylor, a different Taylor. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I've been a Star Wars fan for most of my life. I work for the government now. Went to school for a lot of time. Finally got the opportunity to do this, so I was pretty excited.
So what drew you to Star Wars costuming?
I mean, as I said, I've always loved Star Wars. I think there was some show on Nickelodeon or something that involved space back when I was like maybe 4 years old, 5 years old. And my dad saw that. He's like, oh, maybe he'd like Star Wars, put it on, and that was it. So I've been a fan since I was like 5 years old, grew up with all the prequels, really enjoyed it. And then like around high school, I started to become aware of that there was a costuming organization around. You know, I'd seen them like go to Comic-Cons and stuff. I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then as a high schooler, you know, I do a little research on the internet, and it's a bit of a high barrier for entry, you know, in terms of like the cost and the know-how and whatever. And I just didn't have it. Went to college, got out of college. There are other things on the mind, just kind of lost it until, you know, here we are.
Tell us about your specific journey to the 501st, because it's kind of funny.
It is kind of funny. So last year I'm on a cruise with my wife, and we have cell phone service for the first time in several days. In Nova Scotia, and I get a text from my parents, and it's Sand Trooper armor on a mannequin, and it's fantastic looking, and there's no context. So I call my dad. I'm like, what am I looking at? He's like, oh yeah. And my parents live right in Shark River Hills, right near you. And he's like, oh yeah, we went by this yard sale, and they just had this mannequin out there, and it's not just a mannequin, it's like a full suit of armor. And I'm like, I know what that is. And you didn't leave with it? Like, get me this guy's number. And so, you know, we met a couple times. My parents had to surprise me with the armor as a birthday present. But once I realized that you were Legion and had been Legion for a long time, I was like, I'm all in. I don't want to just get the armor and wear it as a Halloween costume. I want to build. I want to learn. I want to go to the events. I want to be all in.
The legacy, we call that like legacy armor. That's
right.
the term that we specifically coined for our group here. Because like this snow trooper that's behind you was one of our members who passed away. That was his armor that he built. And then, you know, after I obtained it, you know, after his passing, I reworked it, made it a little more accurate and cleaner and better, and then we put on a mannequin.
Right.
So this armor came from a member who had been around for a long time, and then just for other reasons got out of it. And he felt like he couldn't troop anymore. He didn't have the ability or the time or the desire to really go out and do it, and he felt bad because it was such a good set of armor just leaving it in a bin.
Right.
So he kind of wanted to donate it to, you know, to be one of these displays. And I was like, let's see if we can get another member or try to, you know, resell it for you.
Right.
And the issues with some of these armors is when we do, there's nothing wrong with somebody buying another person's armor and then using it to join in or for whatever reason. But finding the height-weight ratio is difficult. Like, if I was selling my armor, you know, there's no way you're going to fit into it.
Right.
So it's like this guy was literally your height and weight to a T, same build and everything. So I was having a yard sale, and I, you know, put that out more just for like, I was gonna I'm trying to sell it. I had it on some boards, and
I saw it on the boards actually.
And but I also had it, you know, like for people riding by to just stop and look.
Right.
And yeah, it's crazy how here you are, just you know, quarter of a mile away from me in my own neighborhood for all this time.
Yeah, you never know.
And here we go. So you got the armor, and the first thing we did is we had to, you know, put it on you. It fit almost perfectly. We just had to make a few minor adjustments. So tell us about the things that you've been doing since you got the armor, because now you're officially approved.
Right.
We just had to do very minor tweaks, which is thankfully that usually there's a lot more work that gets to be done when somebody takes somebody else's armor. But for you, it was pretty easy. So what have you been doing? What have you learned so far?
Yeah, I mean, so I was really lucky with that for the most part. So it really comes down to we just had there's two categories, right? We have the things that I needed to get approved and then the things for kind of comfort and utility. So for the approval, it really wasn't that hard. It was just kind of painting the one thing on the helmet, and then we just had to make sure when we put the armor on that things were sitting the way they were supposed to, which, you know, we didn't really have set up. There were spots that were pinching, like on my leg armor. Some of the straps were not fitting me quite right, so we tightened those up. I learned a little bit of sewing to get those straps tighter. I learned a bit of the armor craft to just carve off some of these corners, make them work. I wore the suit on Halloween, and I was at the end of my block where I just blew out my boot. The whole sole fell off. So now I'm in the process of, I got new boots, and I'm getting those weathered so that they match the rest of the armor. Last time I was here, I had to pull out all the foam in the helmet because what was in there wasn't working for me. And so I have a hodgepodge of foam in there now that, you know, I'm making work, seeing how that works with the armor. But yeah, I mean, there's a million little things like that. And then the big project has been, you've been 3D printing me pieces of the blaster, because after buying the armor, the appetite for buying a blaster on top of that is a little low. And I wanted to have something that really was mine and have a kind of entry project. And the blaster's been perfect. I've been taking the pieces home, sanding them down, priming them, whatever. It's nice to see it kind of come together. And I'm gonna be very happy to have something that is 100% mine, that I did put together on my own project.
It's the perfect example of our crew. Is, you know, we found a guy who wanted to join, had the ability to come by to the shop to get hands-on help. We showed you what to do. You did your homework. Dave likes to call it homework. You know, we showed you, here's a piece of 3D printed blaster. Here's the filler primer. Here's sandpaper. This is what you got to do. You took a box home, did it, came back. I'm like, that's smooth as glass. We're good to go. Here's another set. And then now we're at the assembly part. So we're teaching you how to do it, but you're doing it mostly yourself. So you haven't really done any official troops yet. Is that something you're looking forward to?
Absolutely. One of the big things that kind of drew me to this was the trooping aspect, especially in terms of like volunteering and stuff. Because I've been on myself for years now that I'm an adult, that like I should really be doing a little volunteering more. And I mean, what better way than to dress up in a sand trooper costume and tromp around. You know, looking at the board, there's a lot of really great stuff. In the other interview you mentioned the one at the hospital, like that's awesome. The fundraisers, like those are the ones that I'm really excited to do. You know, I go to Comic-Con usually once a year, so it'd be fun to do some of those too. But yeah, I mean, I think you guys do awesome work. I think it's awesome to it's just fun, right? Like you get to put on a costume and tromp around as a stormtrooper for a while. I mean, it's great. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm very, that's why I'm here getting the boots ready. I've been chomping at the bit now that I'm approved, and I gotta get shoes at work, right?
That's, I mean, again, we teach you all the skills, you know, for even quick problem solving. Like, I gave you a bunch of gaffer's tape, so the day you're, you know, trooping, you actually just gaffer tape it up.
Yeah, I know.
You actually re-glued the whole boot just so it actually did hold together.
It did, for a little while.
It's not gonna hold together forever. And you need another pair. So, you know, costuming and armor building and prop building is always a process. Something's always breaking. While I was moving this stuff around for the interview, I broke a little piece off of one of my blasters. So I just got to glue it together. So it's like, we'd rather people come and learn how to make it, even if you're not 100% making it yourself, and we have hands-on help, and you know you might make 80% of it and I might make 20% or vice versa. You're still learning how to do it. So then when the little pieces break or things need adjusted, you're like, oh, I can do this. So that's kind of what we're about, is doing that. And you get to meet, you know, a lot of new guys and meet some friends. Well, we're glad you're here. I guess we better get back to your boots so we can get you out trooping.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
All right, let's do it.